guys, welcome to another episode of Smash JT. Deep Silver just announced that they are officially removing all sales of their game Metro Exodus from the Steam store on PCs and moving it exclusively for sale on the Epic Games stores, a direct competitor currently with Steam, and it's picking up the pace as far as publishers it's getting for exclusivity. This follows in line with what just happened earlier this year when Ubisoft announced that The Division 2 is getting pulled from Steam in order to be sold exclusively on the Epic Games Store as well. Official statement from Steam reads, later today, sales of Metro Exodus will be discontinued on Steam due to a publisher decision to make the game exclusive to another PC store. The developer and publisher have assured that all prior sales of the game on Steam will be fulfilled on Steam, and Steam owners will be able to access the game and any future updates or DLC through Steam. We think the decision to remove the game is unfair to Steam customers, especially after a long pre-sale period. We apologize to Steam customers that were expecting it to be available for sale through the February 15th release date, but we were only recently informed of the decision and given limited time to let everybody know. If you can't tell from that official statement, Steam is pissed. They are not happy whatsoever about this decision from Deep Silver to pull their game in order to sell it exclusively on the Epic Store. Now, there's a lot of different directions I could go with this. Initially, when I first read this news, I was like, good, screw you, Steam. You charge the publishers 30% of all sales just to put them on your storefront, where the Epic Games Store charges something like 12%. It's not even close. So the actual developers and publishers are making far more money on the game sales if they sell it through a different channel. So Steam kicking and screaming about this, I don't necessarily feel too bad for them, but who I do feel bad for are the gamers. They're the ones that are ultimately getting screwed in all of this, and they are even more pissed than Steam is right now. Scrolling through the comments in the forum, you can really see the anger that people are putting on display right now. It feels like they've been excited about this game for a very long time, and it's frustrating because if you're a PC gamer, you like to buy your games from Steam and have them all in the same location. Having to open up a different store and remember what games you purchased on which store gets really convoluted, especially when you get into having the hundreds or thousands of games to keep track of. You don't know which storefront to open up. Do you open up Origin? Do you open up Uplay Store? Do you open up the Epic Games Store? Do you open up Steam? Just to play these games, it can get a little cumbersome, and clearly the frustration is starting to show from the gamers here. But here's the thing, like I said about Epic Games Store, they give a much better cut of the revenue to the actual developer that's making the game. According to Deep Silver's CEO Dr. Clemens Kondratis, Epic's generous revenue terms are a game changer that will allow publishers to invest more in content creation or pass on savings to the players. But that statement itself is frustrating the customer base on its own right, because people are saying, okay, great, if the Epic Games Store is giving you such a great discount on these games, why don't you just let people have the choice of which platform to buy it on? And if you want to make sure you make the same amount of money, raise the price of the game on one of the storefronts that charges you 30%. So if you can sell it for $60 on the Epic Games Store, sell it for $75 on Steam. And clearly, market will dictate where people will want to buy it. And if people want to buy it on Steam, you'll still make the same around amount of money that you would have made if they bought it from the Epic Store. Which is true, but then if they do that, they're gonna rile up the player base quite a bit, because they'd start charging different prices for different places to buy it, and that in itself is a can of worms they definitely don't want to be opening, because at that point, they're gonna start wondering, okay, we're going on this store, it's gonna charge this much, this store is gonna charge this. It just gets way too confusing and convoluted as far as the pricing is concerned. Having one flat price across the board has always made far more sense. Not to mention, we don't know if Epic Games reached out directly to Deep Silver with an additional finance plan and giving them additional money just to make the exclusivity move, which they may have done. It would make more sense to do that. But if you take a step back from this entire situation and look at what Deep Silver just did to Steam and the gaming community at large, they kind of screwed them over. The game itself was a pre-order for months in advance. I mean, we're talking like 4, 5, 6 months plus. This game has been available for pre-order. People have been expecting to be able to get it on Steam the entire time. And now, just a few weeks out from release, here we have Deep Silver pulling the game from the storefront so that people can't buy it when the game finally comes out. So it's very frustrating on a few fronts. People who have purchased it already on Steam are allowed to get the game still, but anybody who has not pre-ordered it after today won't be able to even have the option to pre-order it. And they did say the game may be coming to Steam down the road, but as of right now, during the launch window of the game for the first year of sales, it's not going to be available. So it's rubbing a lot of people the wrong way. What Steam should do to resolve this is put in some sort of rules on their contract that if a game goes for pre-order, that they're not allowed to pull the game and go exclusive somewhere else. If a game is for sale on Steam, it should be required to be there for a set amount of time. That way they don't have to worry about getting screwed over like what Ubisoft did with The Division 2 and what Deep Silver did with Metro Exodus. And it goes to a much greater issue going on in the PC wars right now, and what storefronts are going to win the battle of your money. Epic Games Stores gives the developers far more of a percentage of their money, so it makes more sense for a developer, if they're trying to sell a game, to put it on something that they'll get more of a percentage from. The problem is, currently, the Epic Games Store does not have nearly the reach of what the Steam Store does. The Steam Store makes up more than 50% of the PC marketplace selling video games on computers. So it's really tough to break into that market, and Epic Store is doing a great job doing it, but by doing so, they're also pissing off a lot of customers along the way. People don't want competition with these storefronts. They just want one location to hold all their games and make sense of it, and they don't care about the behind the scenes. They don't care about the fights or the money that the publishers are trying to make. They just want to play their games. That's what gamers want to do, and that's where the frustration is coming in here. I could actually see the situation blowing up a lot worse than it is right now, so prepare yourselves. If Ubisoft did it, if Deep Silver did it, you just wait to see what other publishers are going to make this leap over to the Epic Store, especially if the Epic Games Store is going to be giving financial lucrative benefits to get the exclusivity of selling their games on their site specifically. And this is something that Steam is going to have to fight real hard that they've never really had to fight before. They've always had a monopoly when it comes to selling games on a storefront on PCs. Steam created this industry, did it right, they did a great job with it, but they also took full advantage of developers charging 30% just to sell games on their platform. Now that competition's coming in at a much cheaper rate, it's making the decision on where a company's going to sell its game on a lot more challenging. Now, ideally, it would be nice if they just sell it on all the platforms, like I said, and have the customers decide. But we all know we don't live in a utopia, and these companies are going to fight for your money, and they're going to make backroom deals, and they're going to screw each other over. But ultimately, at the end of the day, the only person that ends up getting screwed is us, the gamers. That's how I feel about the situation, but I'd be very interested to hear where you guys stand on this. Are you happy that there's some competition finally with the Steam Store? Are you pissed off at Deep Silver for making this move? Are you mad at the Epic Store for making exclusivity deals with specific companies to steal them away from Steam? There's a lot to dissect here, and I'd love to continue this conversation down below. So let's keep it going down there. I'll leave it at that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, you stay smashing.
Smash.